Oh, hi there. Are you tired of the elemental meta? Okay, I apologize. That's the only one. So I just couldn't resist that one. Anyways, this is Coda Motovore. Let's have a look. This piece of ridiculousness is a hammer, technically, consisting of a motorcycle engine wheel stuck on the end of a stick with some infested bits. Doesn't really tell you much about the buff here. If you are trying to get this, you will need to kill a lich to get at least a Coda, Tech Rock Coda boy band thing, to get at least 10 heart cells, and then you would come to Eleanor, who may or may not have it available. She does not currently, but it would be in this list. So this is going to change in 3 days. Changes every 3 days, I believe, or something like that. Like on Wednesdays, which is kind of weird, or Thursdays. But yeah, let's dive over into the build, shall we? Alright, so here we go with the build. Don't mind that's unranked, you do not... I'm doing the 5 format just to master it. You only need like 3 to make this really kind of work, depending how picky you are about having an X-list on this version, but we'll get into that in a second. Valence bonus, you probably don't want radiation either. You could swap that for either electrical, or you could even go impact if you're into that particular version. So, why am I talking about versions? So, the unique trait on this, it gets 6 times physical damage from mods. So this, let me find one here. This would normally be 90% puncture. Now it's 720% puncture. It does in fact outperform elemental mods, if we could swap in. If you watch the total damage, it'll go down even with primed fever, with a primed elemental mod in there for total damage. Same with this. This is obviously when this is outperforming a 60/60 elemental status mod. So this was kind of why I picked this one. It's got a very unique, as my first, essentially, it's got a very unique go-to for it. Besides that, now the highest physical damage type you have in your build will transform the weapon. You remember it was a buzzsaw in the intro? Now it's got spikes because it's the puncture version. And then if I swap over to this other one in the middle, now it's just kind of like rocks. You can see there, kind of neat. So, I'll give you a spoiler, the impact version is not very good. It's like a weird side grade at best. You can give it a lot of damage, but the problem is the other two have the same damage advantage, essentially. And, yeah, it doesn't really work out. So, Puncture version. Puncture has the specialty of getting bonus 1.5 range. Kind of neat. Essentially what I did with the puncture was I threw melee dowdy on it, of course. Big puncture status, because our puncture weighting is through the fucking roof because of how high it is, which is how we got this 10.6 Coda multiplier, and made a good old-fashioned hammer slam build. With a decent amount of chance, so you're going to get some of whatever else you put in here, so you could get a good Kuva element going with viral or something like that, if you really wanted. Going in there. So yeah, hammer slam build should be a no-brainer, but yeah, if you're unfamiliar with hammer slam builds, you basically do a lot of this. It's absolutely could be improved if I was not just on my regular 7 goth and using that pet with the critical damage modifier and things like that. Or, you know, because I'm showing off the weapon, you might do something more like this normally. This is why you don't try and use weapons in a vacuum. It's not the realistic way to play. So now we've explained hammer slam builds. There you can do things with combo and Tennokai too. You could mix this up a little more to not just be spammy. It's up to you. Heading over to Impact. See, this is the one that's kind of It gives you attack speed. Attack speed is only really good for either building up combo, which is why I've got Blood Rush and the Gladiator in here, or trying to inflict a lot of status. So you can see I've kind of got this sort of tuned to be impact for speed, but just to barely going for slash status. It will eventually trigger condition overload, which is why the damage looks low right now, because it's not including that. But yeah, you'll see in a second here, this is by far the weakest version. I'll throw it a challenge down in the comments if you can think of a way to make the impact work as actual impact without like trying to side grade into making a slash or elemental build. It will still, of course, get going after a few rounds here. It also can go faster than any other weapon because that's, you know, a separate attack speed. But you'll start to see it really struggling to chop through some guys here. You will get some mercy bonuses from the impacts going off early, but... And of course, again, if we play real Warframe for a second... Obviously that works significantly better. And last but not least, certainly you might consider this one to be the best of them. Slash. Slash gives it 100% stash chance. Plus 100. It is not absolute, it's multiplicative or additive, whichever way they want to call it, so it's like 100 over 48, which is 90 something, so we got some other boosters on here. This is, you know, a status build, so it's, you know, just other than having some slash in there for extra damage, it's just kind of a boring melee influence thing. You could try and do this one to triple up the status slash stuff if you really want, but I've never liked that one because not all enemies can be lifted and slammed. Let's see here. This one's going to be very dependent on the way the status is randomly rolled out, but reasonably effective on its own. And yeah, again, once you start doing that stuff, it goes overboard. So yeah, it's a cool weapon. It's a unique gimmick. It's not earth-shaking or meta-defining, other than having to use slightly different mods. It is still nice to see some of these mods actually have practical use, though. I think Rending Strike is in one of them, or was in one of them at one point. Which is a nightmare mod that's... Yeah, you could throw this in instead of... over here. Yeah, that's actually supposed to be in there. I'm not sure when that got swapped around. I think I was playing with build or experimenting with something. So yeah. That thing you saw pop up is the Jugulus set mod going off, but it's not particularly relevant. Is this going to rewrite the way you play Warframe? Probably not, but it's got a cool aesthetic. I don't know if it specifically goes with Sevagoth, but it's very steampunky type situation going on. The tire changing with the elements and getting some use out of physical mods is always nice. I'll throw in a quick run through the actual mission now, but Other than that, thanks for watching. If you do want to see more, remember to like, subscribe, throw down a comment. Again, if you can figure out a way to make the impact thing with this work is an actual impact build and not a sideways build into other statuses using attack speed, let me know. Or let me know if one of the free YouTubers has already tripped over that one. We will see you in the next one. If so, if you're hanging around for the mission, see you in a moment. Alright, let's head on into the good old salt mines. Also, I brought gas because...
And the enemy calls for a song.
Ghost, you know, kind of... Can't really be killed, but he also doesn't do a huge amount to particularly buff up weapons and throw off statistics. It would be kind of funny with the impact version, I guess, because he already has the stupid attack speed. But yeah, this is the slash version, I think. It might be the puncture version. No, it's not the puncture version. As you can see, we're just kind of dusting these guys off. It might be the puncture version. Oh, I can tell by looking at the wheel, I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's the puncture version. So yeah, I was killing the guys with a slam build, which means there's an entire wasted mod that I'm not using to attack them here. So yeah, just casual size. Not what you really expect a physical weapon to do. The Ghost also has my carrier, which is not set to actually do viral. It does magnetic and cold priming with the Artax. If you want to see that video, you can always go look at it should be in the playlist in the description for the Artax. It makes it do the cold thing where all the enemies aren't attacking me, as you can tell. So yeah. Easy clear here. Nothing to... That guy was a little chunky, wasn't he? And yeah, if we just slammed, everything dies. Yeah, I put dispatch overdrive. It's my tradition for slam builds, but you could absolutely do Tennokai on this if you wanted to. And then your slams won't take your combo away. He's doing some in the combo too, which are triggering the Jugglerless spears. Anyways, thanks for watching along for a little extra bit here. You did want to see more stuff on the channel, of course. You know, probably I already told you like 3 minutes ago. I'm not going to reiterate it all, but you know the YouTube drill, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. We will see ya in the next one. Okay, bye guys.